Hey everyone. So I recently found out something pretty interesting and cool that will help you out. If you have an iPhone 13 Pro or 13 Pro Max or newer, you can resolve pretty much all of your headaches by simply adding a cool color tint or like a cool gamma to your display. In other words, you don't want the brights to be as white, but you also don't want them to be as bright. So we don't actually want to mess around with reducing the white point unless you're in a very dark environment. So what you're going to want to do is scroll down, go into settings, type in settings. Now that we're in settings, we want to go into accessibility. Under accessibility, we want to go to display and text size. And then finally, we want to scroll down and go to color filters. So in this case, you will see that at the bottom I have color tint, intensity, and hue. So click on color tint on the bottom, select that, and then select intensity, move it all the way over to the left and then move it over to the right. With the hue, you'll do the exact opposite. So just try to make them match my display here. And you will notice that there'll be a little bit of a blue tint to the display, but it's not going to be that noticeable. It's just a little bit of a tint to make the whites a little bit bluer. So, and if you're going to be editing photos, you'll probably want to temporarily turn that off. So just to show you the difference in the colors, turn it off. See how the colors are a lot brighter? Turn it on. So the goal is actually to make it a blue gamma or cooler screen. That's what really helps with your eyes. Samsung phones, if you ever used a Samsung phone before, they do this automatically. It's automatically got a bluer gamma to it. So you want to make your intensity as close to, click on the color tint, try to make your intensity and hue match mine. If you find out that you have an iPhone 13 Pro, Pro Max, or the newer 14 Pros series, and you still have headaches, move your intensity over to the right just a tiny bit, and that's going to add a little bit more blue. So stick with that. These settings have worked for me pretty well, and you can do this on any pretty much iOS device. You can do it on your iPad. You could do it on any other iPhone that has this feature. So a few things to note is if you have an LCD display on your iPad, or you have an iPhone XR, iPhone 11, or an iPhone 8 Plus or older, which have the LCD displays, setting these settings will 100% resolve all your headaches. If you have the OLED displays, LED backlit displays, such as the iPhone X, also the iPhone XR, which is also a LCD display, that this will work also. If you have the iPhone X, the iPhone 13 non-Pro model, any of the iPhone 11s, and I believe the cheaper iPhone 12s, I think the 12 Pros, they might have fixed the PWM frequency, which is basically, think of it as the refresh rate of the screen. That's what also gives you a headache. If you're using any of those phones, basically if you have a non-13 Pro model or older, okay, so the iPhone 13, the iPhone 12, maybe the iPhone 12 Pro, I think that they fixed some of their refresh rates, but let's say iPhone 12 Pro, iPhone 10, and the iPhone 11 Pro series. Those have a lower refresh rate PWM, which means the screen will refresh at a lower frequency. You can't actually see it with your eyes, but people with sensitive eyes can still detect it. And that's what gives you a problem. So this color filter fixes one of the problems with the intensity of the whites being too white. That fixes one problem. Since on the iPhone 13 Pro and probably the newer series, they increased the refresh rate of the screen, you don't have to worry about that PWM frequency that will give you a headache. So this solves the problem. This will solve one of your problems. So if you have the iPhone, as I mentioned, if you have the iPhone 11 Pro, 12 Pro, or the 13, regular 13 model, you should also apply these settings as well. Basically, any iOS device that you have that gives you a headache, you should apply these settings. However, I can't guarantee that your headache will 100% go away, but it should make it better on those other LED based models because of the PWM frequency. So anyway, try this setting out on your iPhone and your iPads and see if it works for you. I guarantee you, for someone as myself, who has really sensitive, I'm extremely sensitive to PWM frequency, which is the frequency where the screen will refresh. Basically, what happens is, without getting into it too much detail, your display is actually going to turn on and off really quickly. When you make the screen brighter, it turns on and off slower. When you dim it, it turns on and off faster. So the frequency may change. You'll have bigger blocks that scroll top to bottom. You'll see like black lines that go across the screen. You can't see it on the phone unless you use a slow motion camera, but it's there. So on those phones, iPhone, as I mentioned, iPhone 10, iPhone 11 Pro. 11 Pros gave me a really bad headache when I played with them. The 12 Pro series, maybe the 12 Pro, the 13 regular model. Okay, those phones will still suffer from that. You could call it a lower refresh rate. Think of it like that. You still might get a headache, but try this setting anyway. It'll at least give you a lot of relief. And then you'll be able to use your phone or tablet, do this on your iPad as well, as much as pretty much a lot better than before, without getting headaches or starting to feel dizzy. If you have a Macintosh, this video is not for Macintoshes, but take a look at your gamma settings in the display settings, if there is one, depending on your OS X version. And you'll want to make it a little bit more blue. So you'll want to drag the slider to the left or the right. I can't tell you off the top of my head, but just do that so it looks a little bit cooler. It's very easy to do. You'll notice it right away. And that will do the same thing as what we have here. So this gives you your blue tint across the whole device, and your whites no longer look really bright. So try this. You'll thank me later when you can use your phone a lot longer. So hopefully this works for you. Let me know. Have a great day.